In January 2007, a small group of students came together at USF to create an art project for the people of Sulphur Springs. Under the leadership of Mike Parker and Ed Ross of the Community Art Program, these students, Julius Heege, Jennifer Costello, Jessica Johnson, and myself, Justin Dick, were faced with a unique set of problems. Chiefly, how could we create a work of art that would not only be something aesthetically pleasing, but also met a need of the residents? The initial process was an arduous one that involved meeting with neighborhood teens, talking to them about their concerns, and then several brainstorming sessions to address these concerns. Some of the problems brought to light by these teens were people speeding through the neighborhood, which does not have adequate sidewalk, and children often play in the street, and people dumping their garbage in the street, vacant lots, or even the park. Finding a creative solution to these problems was, in of itself, problematic. I suggested collecting all the garbage and making a sculpture out of it. Jen suggested to petition the city to build more sidewalks in the community. But Mike and Ed really felt, for this to be a community art project, that it would be essential for residents to be involved in the process. And of course, there must be an artistic element to it. During these brainstorming sessions, Even L, a youth who has been with the program since the beginning, was present, and one night, while we were racking our brains, he suggested we install a comment box for the people of Sulphur Springs to offer up suggestions to improve their neighborhood. We thought about it a little bit, but it wasn't until our next meeting, after we had a few days to think about it, that we all agreed that this would be our project. However, it wouldn't be enough to simply put a comment box in the community. It had to be a work of art. It had to be a spectacle, something so out of the ordinary that it couldn't be ignored or merely blend into the scenery. No. People would have to take notice and investigate this new and unusual object in the landscape of Sulphur Springs. Moreover, we wanted the people to interact with it on a deeper level than just admiring its form. We wanted to create a dialogue within the community. A comment box is an input-only device. We sought to create a device which receives input but also creates output. It was for this reason that we decided whatever we received in this box, no matter what it may be, we would use to create artwork and then install it back into the community. Our aspiration was that this project would be a vehicle to empower the people of Sulphur Springs with a very public voice that resonates throughout their community and the city of Tampa at large. So, we had our concept, and it seemed the worst part was over. We knew what we would do, and now it was only a matter of execution. We began working on our designs, and in the meantime I was scouting the neighborhood for a location. After reviewing many photographs of potential sites, we selected locations we considered gateways to the community. The two most prominent we felt were across from the Harbor Club, on a lot off of Van Dyke Place, and the railroad overpass at the intersection of Mulberry and Rowlett Park Drive. For this design, we discussed everything from anthropomorphic amalgamated animal mascots to modernist sculptures. Eventually, Jessica Johnson came up with a design that was elegant in its simplicity. A single wall, increasing in height as it spirals inward, leading the viewer to its center. A tower with a slot for depositing messages. It was my idea that the tower should be a model of the water tower, which could easily be identified as a symbol of the Sulphur Springs community. We began the process of building the project, which we had dubbed the Community Message Center. By the end of the semester, we had finished building the walls, but we were nowhere near installing the piece on site. Our group parted ways after the semester was over, but I continued working on the project over the summer, and I called my colleagues, asking them to continue working with me, but to no avail. I found myself working on this project alone. To make matters worse, developers had bought our site and planned to start building condominiums on the property. It was a long, hot, difficult summer. My car was destroyed by a drunk driver, and I was riding my bike across town to work on a project which seemed to be running out of steam. I had erected 2 of the walls, only to arrive a week later and find that city workers had removed them the night before. Nevertheless, I pressed on. I rebuilt the walls that were taken by the city, and before I knew it, the fall semester at USF had begun. While our class was still together, we had submitted a proposal to the Oliver Gallery, and our proposal was approved. I wanted to take what we had received in the Message Center and hang it on the walls in the gallery, but since the project had not yet been fully realized, I had to settle for a model. Mike and Ed, on the other hand, enlisted a new group of students to work on the project, after combining the Teaching in the Springs course with the Community Art Project course, which fulfills the extended studies requisite, just so you know. And soon after the semester began, I was working with a fresh group of people to finish what we had started some 8 months ago. By midterm, the project was a few steps away from completion. Now, the Community Message Center will be completed by the end of November, and we are already talking about how we can get the people of Sulphur Springs involved, and how we can turn their messages into works of art for everyone to see. It's exciting and exhilarating to think about what we could possibly receive from the people of this community, and what started as a simple idea and grew to something larger than life. And when I look back and I think about all the challenges we faced making this project, the prospect of what's to come makes it all worthwhile.